Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, good morning everyone. How are you today? I hope you all fine. The Honorable our lecturer Puspa Nupitasari MPD and all my beloved friends. Today we are from group 2. We would like to discuss about nonverbal communication from other country. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Tiffanie and my partners are Maradha Putri, Rizka Nurzizah Rozella, Tiwi Nopiani, and Vira Juniar. Today we are going to discuss about 5 things in nonverbal communication. First, eye contact. Second, touch. Third, body distance or space. Fourth, paralanguage. And fifth, turn taking. Okay guys, let's go to the first point. Eye contact. Eye contact is the important thing of nonverbal communication. Eye contact may create communication barriers. It serves to show intimacy, attention, and influence. Same like facial expression, there are no specific rules governing eye behavior, except that it is considered rude to stare, especially at strangers. Okay, each country has a different meaning in making eye contact. For example, in American culture, the eye is thought to indicate the center point of one's focus. So if someone doesn't make eye contact in a conversation, it can be considered insulting no matter how old our interlocutor. You have to making eye contact while make a conversation. In other, more formal situations, the lack of eye contact can be viewed differently. For example, in an interview situations, strong eye contact is signs of confidence, while a lack of eye contact is seen as a lack of trust. Meanwhile in Indonesian prioritized politeness and respect in making eye contact. The way they talking to people who are elder or people of a higher rank than him or her, they will lower their gaze as sign of respect and politeness. For example, students were asked not to make eye contact with their professors, as this could be interpreted as a sign of disrespect. And other example is daughters or children lower their gaze when their parents speak to them, a sign of politeness and respect. I think that's all for eye contact, and the next explanation will be explained by my friends. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vira Juniar. I'm from group 2. Today I would like to explain about nonverbal communication. So what is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication is the transfer of the information through the use of body language, including eye contact, facial expression, gesture, body distance, touch, and etc. Okay, I will explain about part touch. I will compare cultural touch between Indonesian and American. So this is the example for Indonesian. In Indonesian, when meeting or to greet someone, we usually shake hands, both in business or meeting friends and others. Other things, usually kissing the left and right cheeks or hugging, but it's usually only for the same sex, especially for women. But it is not worth it for being allowed for women and men to greet with kiss or hug, because in Indonesia it is not usually done. Meanwhile in American, but is different from American and Indonesian. In American, people can touch to greet or meet someone, for example shaking hand either in business or with friends. But in American also applies the culture when meeting someone with the same sex or the opposite sex. by hugging or kissing the left and right cheeks. This is commonplace because it has become commonplace in American.
My name is Tiwi Nopiani and I will continue the explanation from Vira Juniar. Okay, the next nonverbal communication is body space or body distance, which is the distance used when communicating with other people, including the position when speaking. For example, there are two distances that are commonly done. The first is personal distance, which is the distance that shows the feelings of each party communicating and also shows familiarity in a relationship. This distance range from 1.5 feet to 4 feet. And the second is social distance. Within this distance, the speaker is fully aware of the presence of other people, because in this distance, the speaker tries not to disturb and suppress other people. His presence can be seen from the distance between 4 feet to 12 feet. Okay, in Indonesia, body space or body distance is used to communicate, namely being close to one another, but it's different with people who are angry. The body distance will be very close so that it makes their opponent feel scared. They will feel weak, submissive, and their gesture will show a tendency to avoid. While the distance of the body of people in Japan when speaking, that is, they stand farther from the other person. For example, when greeting or respecting other people, they bend their body and then bow their head. This reflects their very polite country.
My name is Rizka, Nurzizah, Rozella. Paralinguistic is the study of vocal and sometimes non-vocal signal beyond the basic spoken message or speech, also known as vocalics. What is paralinguage? Vocal or paralinguage is a non-verbal element in speech, namely a way of speaking. Examples are tone of voice, loud or weak voice, speed of speech, quality of voice, intonation, etc. Paralinguage including accent, pitch, volume, speech level, modulation, and fluency. Some researchers have also included certain non-vocal phenomena under the heading of paralinguage, facial expression, eye movement, hand movement, and the like. Factor affecting nonverbal language. Actually, many factors influence nonverbal language, including cultural background, socio-economic background, education, gender, age, personal experiences, and privilege they have. Intonation between Japanese and Indonesian. For example, if a guest comes to our house and we tell him to come in, Japanese like this. Ai-chan, dozo haite, which mean Ai-chan, come on in. If it's like this Indonesia, let's go in, or ayo masuk. Palembang, peh masuk. It is casual or informal.
Turn taking is the rule when a person is speaking naturally. In normal, civilized Western type conversation, the speakers doesn't speak all the time. They are waiting for their turn. Taking turn. The concept of taking turn is at the heart of conversation analysis. Taking turn regulates the distribution and flow of speech between the two interaction participants, so as to keep speech continuous. Turn taking is described as a process in which one participant talks, then stops and gives the other participant the opportunity to start speaking, so that we get the distribution of the conversation between the two participants. Okay, there are 7 turn-taking strategies. Number 1 is speak then else and insist in first student discuss topics, and the one student gets the ball rolling with her opinion and asks the other person to join in, maybe by asking a question or asking for their opinion. So this is you ask a person to speak after you finish speaking. Number two is use conjunction. That's another strategy on taking. You use conjunction like and, therefore, but, or, and then you kind of add something more to what you have said or what someone else has said. Someone has said something, you can say it, and you can also say this with your points, so you can add and continue the other person's point. You can add or you can add, but if you have something different to say from what that person has said. And then the third one over here is phrases of agreeing and disagreeing, which mean giving your opinion whether you agree or disagree. So you start your turn by clarifying, do you agree or you do not agree with that, and so you use the appropriate phrases before you give your comments. And number 4, as you can see, is asking for or giving opinions. So you can ask for opinion. This is also turn taking again. If you finish your point, you can turn to the other persons. Fatma, what do you think about what I've just said? Or Hamid, what do you think about? But Fatma has just spoken on small group activities, so like this you ask the people to join in. This is also turn taking. And the number 5 is fillers for voices. This is like taking a break. Of course you can go on non-stop or continuously. You need to have a pause, and this is a very useful strategy in a discussion or in speaking, where you take time off from speaking and you give a false conscious useful meaningful talks, which mean you're trying to let others observe what you've just said, or you're trying to think of an example which what you have just said, or maybe you are trying to connect what you have said with what somebody else has said. So there can be different use for false, but a false is also a very important strategy which you use in a discussion. And then number 6 is avoiding interruptions. How do you avoid interruptions? Well, it can be like maybe there is a counter or discussion. Maybe somebody say something, somebody disagrees, or you feel there is some kind of a disagreement. So at that time you can take your turn to come in, and you can now clarify what is being discussed and what is being contradicted upon. So one person has some view and represent another view, and they're not able to reach a conclusion. So maybe you can come interrupt them and you can make it clear you know to them as well as to others who are and part of this part of the discussion, so that's avoiding interruptions. And the last one here is fluency or accuracy, which means keep correction to minimum and consider simply letting them speak and giving them feedback in the end, which means when people finish, let them finish what they are saying even if you don't understand what they're saying. Wait till they're finished and then you can ask them that did you mean. There are many challenges in using this method in schools, so you can ask your question but wait till they finish, so let them finish and then you know there should be a fluency in your turn taking strategy. Okay, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.